2023 was a big year for dive watches. We had prices from around $400 all the way to things like $32,000. Today I'll be going in order from least expensive to most expensive, and these are watches that I would want to purchase for myself, regardless if my store Carrot & Co carries them or not. Speaking of which, if you are looking for a dive watch or a nice watch, my store Carrot & Co is an authorized retailer for over 25 different luxury watch brands located in Flushing, Queens, New York. So you can check out our website or you can make a visit to our store in Flushing. Now, my only criteria for today for a dive watch is it has to have at least 100-meter water resistance, and it has to have at least some kind of timing device like a rotating bezel. Some watches like the Tudor Blancpain GMT, for example, great watch. That's not exactly a diver function watch, but that way it just gives you an idea of what's to come today. Anyways, let's go with number 1. I generally think this is one of the most clever watches I've seen all year, and that's the Spinnaker 50 Phantoms. Obviously, this was a big year for Blancpain's 50 Fathoms, as 2023 marks its 70th anniversary, and this 50 Phantoms proves that they can play on this theme as well. It comes in a 43mm case with 50 little phantoms on the dial, as well as the case back, which I actually counted, and there's also a no feet indicator playing on the dive watch kind of depth rating, which is hilarious. I got to see it this year at Worn & Wound's Wind Up Watch Fair, and I got to see the black dial version in both the ghost gray bezel or the black bezel, and apparently the launch for Spinnaker was so successful that they decided to release a blue dial version that was not limited edition right after. So if you missed the black dial versions, at least you can still get the blue dial versions. I think that's a great move from Spinnaker on top of the watch because it's so clever and funny. And out of all those versions, my favorite one that I saw was the black dial with the ghost gray bezel, just because the ghost gray bezel already plays into that theme, and I think it works the best there. Ultimately, I didn't end up ordering or pre-ordering one for myself, just because when I tried it on, the watch wore very big on my wrist. As you'll see today, I usually like watches around 37 to 39 millimeters, so this at 43 millimeters is quite big for me, but I do think it matches the Blancpain 50 Fathom theme very well, just because most 50 Fathoms are like 44 millimeters. Great release from Spinnaker. Let me know if you got one in the comments below. Number 2 is another Blancpain 50 Fathom spin-off, but this time it's made with Blancpain, and that's the Blancpain Swatch Scuba. I'm sure people are tired of hearing about the Moon Swatch, but the same idea persists here. It's a bioceramic case, and there's 5 different colors for the 5 different bodies of oceans. My favorite one is the Antarctica version, which is a white bioceramic case and has like ghost gray and white color tones. It has the old Blancpain logo, no date window, full lume bezel, and a usable moisture indicator. It's also in a 42mm case, which wears okay on a NATO strap, but I ended up putting mine on a gray rubber strap from Horus, which makes it wear so much better. Now, unlike the Moon Swatch, this one uses a System 51 automatic movement. Oddly enough, when you wind the crown, you have to wind it counterclockwise instead of the traditional clockwise direction. And I know a lot of people have said mostly not great things about the movement, but mine is running around +2 seconds, which is great. Anyways, moving on, this time is the Seiko 5 Surfing Snoopy. Now, Seiko 5 has been making basically their own mod watches. It comes in a SKX case, and it's limited to 8,900 pieces worldwide, and it comes in a 38mm stainless steel case and on a white and gray NATO strap, which fits that comic strip theme so well. The case size is amazing, wears great on me, and it's such a fun collectible watch. On the dial side, Snoopy has his surfboard, and when you flip it over to the case back, he's now riding a wave, which is just super fun, and it also comes in a collectible watch box priced at $425. The reaction to this watch was very strong, and basically our store had sold out of all of our surfing Snoopies, and it came out the same time as another Snoopy watch, but this time in a field watch in 36mm called the SRPK27. Those might still be available at the time of when I'm making this video. I know our store sold out of both versions very fast, and the surfing Snoopy one is definitely more preferred just because it's a diver watch style. This Seiko 5 Snoopy is not a real dive watch. It doesn't have a screw down crown. It doesn't have more than 200-meter water resistance. It's not really ISO rated, but it does have that diver style because it's 100-meter water resistance and it has a rotating bezel. So it's definitely a watch you can use as a beater watch or just something collectible if you're a fan of Snoopy and maybe Seiko. Number 4 is the Seiko Prospex Diver GMT. Seiko came out with their Prospex Diver GMT this year in a 1968 reinterpretation case, 42mm case in stainless steel with a 12.9mm thickness, which is actually really proportional considering that it has a third GMT hand. Now, considering the GMT is not a traveler GMT, so that means when you pull the crown to the first position, you can either move the quickset date in one direction or you can move the GMT hand in the other direction. This is what we call a color GMT. There's 3 different colors, black, green, and a limited edition ice blue dial. My favorite version is a black dial. I think it looks fantastic. It actually wears really well on my wrist, and the only thing is I wish it did have a traveler GMT function, but but that's just my own preference. The bezel is not ceramic, but it is polished steel to look like ceramic, and the watch is priced at $1,500 for the black or green dial, or $1,700 for the limited edition ice blue dial, and the ice blue dial also comes with an extra NATO strap. Number 5, speaking of diver GMTs, Longines came out with one of the best watches on this entire list under $3,000, and that's the Longines Hydro Conquest GMT 41mm. The Hydro Conquest was basically revamped for this collection by taking away the numerals and putting in circular, rectangular, and triangular hour markers, kind of like what you would see on a lot of other dive watches. Now this time the movement is a Traveler GMT, so when you pull the crown to the first position, you can independently jump the local hour hand, which is most useful when you're actually traveling somewhere, and that way you don't lose your home time. The case and bracelet is mostly brush finished, and I love that the bracelet tapers down, has a nice dual button fold over clasp, and a micro adjustment on the fly. Finally, micro adjustments on the fly on bracelet watches should be like a no-brainer in 2023 now. There's a few different versions, black dial, blue dial, as well as a green or gilt gold version. My favorite is the blue dial on the all stainless steel bracelet, priced at $2,775. Now number 6, Longines delivers again, but this time with the 39mm version of their Legend Diver. It comes in a blue or black dial on a beads of rice stainless steel bracelet, or you can get the blue dial on a NATO strap or black dial on a brown calfskin strap. The Legend Diver originally had a 42 or 36mm version with Fotina and a date window, but now this new 39mm version has a sunburst dial, no date window, and a really comfortable beads of rice bracelet. 39mm for a dive watch is, to me, one of the most ideal sizes because it fits in the size of like people who like vintage modern designs and people like me who have slimmer wrists who want something that actually wears proportional. We're so used to seeing dive watches wear huge and large. In my opinion, it's not hard to make a big dive watch. You can keep throwing in thickness, keep throwing in diameter, but it's actually much harder to make a very comfortable and well-proportioned diver watch. Now, this watch follows that super compressor style with dual crowns that both screw down for 300 meters of water resistance. Top crown for the bi-directional rotating bezel, bottom crown for time setting. I love that there's no date window, so it's easy to set the time. The lume is superb with blue and green colors, and the caseback is closed with the diver wearing the Legend Diver on his wrist, and the caseback will always be lined up perfectly, similar to Omega's Naiad lock system. Legibility is good on the watch. There's anti-reflective coating on the inner and outer surface. The bracelet is super comfortable, which I recommend getting, and I did just do a full review of the Legend Diver 39, so if you want to see the full video after, there's a lot more details and photos there. But again, another amazing launch from Longines at $3,200. Now number 7 is Seiko's SJE093, their 62 MAS recreation, which is actually the watch I'm wearing today. Oh boy, I already also did a video on this watch. It's a watch I purchased as soon as it launched. I was so excited when I heard about it originally because I've always loved the 62 MAS style. Like, I think the most important part for me is that it's a recreation, but it's in a very wearable case, 38mm and 12.5mm of thickness. This watch is probably one of the watches I wore the most this year. I wore it pretty much every weekend. Every time I had to go do something like hiking or camping, I would bring it with me. The lume is fantastic. The size is fantastic. The sunburst gray dial is awesome, which makes it really easy to pair with straps and other things. One thing I do want to mention here, like I mentioned in the full video, is that the movement is the 6L35 movement, which is not the same family as the 6R. So you're not overpaying for a 6R. Actually, this 6L movement is part of the 8L movement, which is what the other high-end dive watches from Seiko's are categorized in. If you go to Seiko's service website, you can clearly see there 6L and 8L are under the same category. So that basically means you are getting a thinner 8L movement. That's what makes this a lot more wearable on the wrist. And yeah, I do agree Seiko should have called this movement something like the 8S for slim instead of the 6L, just so it's a little bit easier to understand. And mine has been running extremely well. Actually, when I tested it for the video, it was like somewhere between 4 to 6 seconds. But now that I've been wearing it for multiple months, mine is sometimes even like 1 to 2 seconds. It's super accurate. Anyways, enough talking about Seiko. This one is priced at $3,500, limited to 1,965 pieces for the same year that Seiko launched this watch. Number 8 on this list is the watch that most people were saying, why wouldn't I just buy a Tudor Blancpain 54 instead of the Seiko SJE093? This is another amazing launch from Tudor. I'm not surprised that Tudor is on this list because Tudor has been making some really great dive watches from their Blancpain series, their Blancpain 58s, all the different variations, and now they came out with the Blancpain 54. I already liked the Blancpain 58's 39mm size. I even got it in the 925 Silver Edition, but hey, an even slimmer dive watch with vintage dive watch proportions, I'm in. The bezel action on the Blancpain series is super amazing, 60 click bezel, and this new 37mm case comes on either a steel bracelet with an on-the-fly micro adjustment or a black rubber strap. Has no date window, clean dial. There's also no red arrow on the bezel, so it's not just a smaller Blancpain 58 gilt version, but it has its own slight differences to consider. It also has Tudor's 70-hour power reserve movement, which is cost certified. There's literally nothing bad I can say about this watch. I think it nails a lot of things right. Personally, for me, I would love to see more color variations, just like when they first launched the Blancpain 58. Later on, they came out with the blue and then the silver and the bronze gold and stuff like that later on. So I'm really excited to see where this will go in the future. I do want to make a mention to Tudor's other dive watch that came out, the Blancpain 41 with the master chronometer movement with the burgundy bezel. Came with 3 different kind of bracelet options. That was also an awesome watch. Definitely hitting a lot of value for a very understandable price point, around $5,000. But when I was making this list, I was thinking, would I actually buy the 41mm burgundy? And that's a no. I would definitely go for the 54 for my own choice. It's priced at $3,900 on a bracelet or $3,700 on a black rubber strap. Number 9 on this list is Omega Seamaster 300 Summer Blue Edition. Now this year, Omega celebrated the Seamaster 75th anniversary by doing a summer blue variation on all their Seamaster collections. While most of them are just like a blue and summer blue treatment to a lot of the watches, with the exception of like the Ultra Deep and the Pro Prof, I think the Seamaster 300 has the best upgrades. In general, we've seen so many different versions of the Seamaster Diver 300, but we haven't seen that many Seamaster 300 variations. When the Seamaster 300 was updated in 2021, it was a very much welcome improvement from the previous Seamaster 300. Now it was officially master chronometer, less text on the dial, and was the only Seamaster in the lineup that had that vintage modern aesthetic. But the only caveat was it did have Fotina, which some people liked or some people hated. Now the summer blue edition of the Seamaster 300 has no Fotina, just different shades of summer blue from navy to light blue, a ceramic bezel now, and a closed case back with Poseidon on the back. I love the color scheme here. The sandwich dial has the light blue peering underneath that cutout hour markers, and I think it was a great way to modernize an overall vintage looking watch priced at $7,400. My only thing is I wish Omega would make this same watch but in 39mm, and it would be super killer in that vintage modern aesthetic. But other than that, everything they added with the color and the new ceramic bezel was really nice improvements. Now number 10 on this list is another Omega Seamaster. This time is the Planet Ocean 39.5mm. This is another one that I really highly consider buying. I've always liked Omega dive watches, but there's not that many variations under 40mm. The Planet Ocean doesn't get nearly as much love as the Diver 300, even though it's under 40mm, and it has 2 crowns with the helium escape valve and time setting functions just like on the Diver 300. Now the new summer blue variation has an all blue appearance, and since it's at the 600-meter depth for the watch, it has a darker blue dial compared to the other summer blue variations. For example, the Planet Ocean dial is darker than the Seamaster 300, which I just spoke about. Now the lume on the Planet Ocean is incredibly strong. Also, if you were not a big fan of the pop-up orange that's on the Planet Ocean watches as a design symbol, then I think you'll like the all blue appearance here. It also has a closed case back with Poseidon and a full brush steel bracelet. Personally, it fit me the best out of all the Seamaster summer blue editions. Even though it wears thicker, I think that it's well balanced out with the 39.5mm case. And out of all the summer blue editions that came out, this is definitely the one I would get myself. And last but not least, we're rounding up the list at the highest price point of $32,000, and that's the Blancpain 50 Fathoms Act 3 in bronze gold. Now, Blancpain celebrated their 70th anniversary of the 50 Fathoms this year, and they had different acts. Act 1 was the 50 Fathom in 42.3mm, Act 2 was the 47mm Tech Combessa, and now Act 3, to round up the entire anniversary, is this mil-spec bronze gold in 41mm case. The Act 3 was my favorite version with a full bronze gold case, a moisture indicator, black dial, no date window, 100-hour power reserve, all in a 41mm case. And the cool thing about the bronze gold is it is full brushed satin, and when I first saw the reference number ending in NANA, I literally thought of the word banana for some reason. That has nothing to do with the watch, I just thought it would be funny to mention. It takes inspiration from Blancpain's early mil-spec line, which stands for military specifications, and while the price point is certainly in the expensive realm, it's undeniable that the bronze gold color along with the Fotina and the black dial and NATO strap makes a really nice package when all executed together. It also comes in this huge watch box, which is supposed to simulate underwater photography. At that time, you can literally wear it like a bag walking around. And again, we see here Blancpain saves one of its most friendly case sizes, anything from 40 to 42mm into 50 fathoms in a limited edition. So I'm really hoping in the future Blancpain will bring a non-limited edition 50 fathoms anywhere from the 38 to 42mm range. I think a lot of people have been requesting this size for years, and I really hope Blancpain brings it and not just put it in another limited edition. Anyways, that's basically my list of my favorite diver watches of 2023. If there's a diver watch that I missed, drop a comment below. What did you think of my choices? Do you agree? Did you hate some of them? Did you like them? Let me know in the comments as well. And if it's your first time here and you love watches, please subscribe to my channel. It's been a minute, and I'll see you in my next video covering my favorite watches of 2023, everything that's not a dive watch. It's probably gonna be longer than this list today. Well, stay tuned. Bye.